OpenAI just launched ChatGPT Operator, a version of ChatGPT that can go on the web and perform tasks for you. In this video, I'm going to try to use it as a production assistant to see what type of film-related tasks it can help me do automatically. Let's jump into it. All right, so Operator, it just came out today, the day I'm recording this video. They're calling it a research preview and that it is a beta and that it might be glitchy. But it's basically a way for ChatGPT to access the internet using a virtual computer and access its own sandbox web browser. Virtual computers are generous. It is just a web browser that it can access. I've already tried to have it download or do things with files. It can't do that. It's not a full-fledged virtual computer, just a web browser. So anything you could do online, in theory, I think you can kind of do it here. As of right now, it is only available on the Pro user plan, which is their $200 a month plan. I do happen to have that because I was messing around with Sora. So it's nice to see that they're adding more features into that. So you basically just go to operator.chatgpt.com and you get something that looks pretty similar to ChatGPT. But it has a couple of suggestions to start you off in a couple of categories. I'm probably not going to use any of these companies because what I want to dig into is a lot more niche, and I want to use it to help me with filmmaking related tasks from pre-production, finding locations, finding gear, to post-production to see if it can help me find stock music, stock footage, elements like that. Stuff that is confined to the restrictions of it has to be able to be doable in a web browser. I've already tried to have it do video stuff. It can't download files or do anything like that. So that's kind of off the table for this right now. All right, so first task, I want to try to have it help me find and book a camera rental. So let me start off with something a bit easy. Find and book a 6K Blackmagic camera rental for January 26th to January 29th. And now if I was doing this myself, I would either probably go to lensrentals.com or sharegrid.com. And so it opens up a preview window of what the computer is doing, so you can kind of see every step of the way. If you've used Claude computer control, it's a bit more technical to set up. You have to load it in a Docker box or whatever it's called. So it's a little bit more technical. It's definitely not as easy as this is. But the Claude system, it shows you screenshots of like what it is doing, and you can interrupt it. So it feels very similar to that. So you can stop this at any point. It does give you a note when you first boot it up that it is monitoring and recording the screen. But what we'll probably see in a bit is it will stop recording if it needs you to interject to like log into a website. Oh, so this is interesting. So it did go to Lens Rental, but it's telling me that it detected that it's not available on the dates that I want. It's yes, so let's switch the dates to Jan 30th to February 5th. And I can click on this arrow and make the screen a little bit bigger. And as you can see, if I hovered, it says take control. So I could also stop this and take control at any point. And I'm staying here on the page and we'll speed up some of these shots so you can see. But you could leave this page and it asked if you want to turn notifications on. So you could leave it. And then if it needs you to interject, it will pop up with a notification of where it stopped and what it needs you to do. All right, I'm just picking bad dates. So it's saying, yes, that it's now available, but I have to pick it up in their office because they usually require 1 to 2 days to ship. Let me just give it a bit more fuzzy. Switch the dates to the soonest date, but that it's able to ship 90401. This is really interesting. I was just clicking each next date to see when it stops getting an error notification. So that's really cool. This is one of the kind of warning things that I've seen people notice. So now it's detecting, okay, maybe the mouse is being a bit weird, and it's asking, are you human? And so now ChatGPT is asking me to jump in and verify that I'm a human. Okay, interesting. So the cart's not added. So let me go back. Once you're done, you say finish up, and then you can tell it what you did. It's optional. I'll just say I verified was human. I spelled verified wrong, but it should understand that. Okay, so now it has added it to the cart. It is asking me if I want to check out. Let me give it something vague. Let's say I want to add a wide angle lens to the rental. So I'm not going to give it a specific model name. And I also want to see, so I want to see two things here. I want to see if it understands. So the camera that it picked is an EF mount lens. That's a Canon mount version. So I want to understand, is it going to find another Canon lens that will correctly mount to this? And does it understand that a wide angle is going to be something in the 16 millimeter range? So I didn't specify any of that. I want to see what it does. Or it could also cheat and is literally clicking on wide angle lenses. All right, so okay, so it suggested some lenses that would not work with this camera. All right, let me ask it which lens will work with the camera that I picked. Okay, and it did successfully narrow down that list to the three Canon lenses from the list. And I'll say just add the 16 to 35 millimeter lens. Okay, and as added, it's asking if I want to proceed to checkout. I'll say proceed. And I'm going to guess it's going to ask me to log in or jump in and put in my information. Okay, and now it's asking me to log in and proceed. I'm not going to do that, but I'm going to say that this task, go find some rental gear, was a success. So check mark for that one. Next task, well, before I go into that, one thing you can do that is interesting is if this is a task that is recurring, something you'll do, you can save this task as a template so you could run it again in the future. This is not something that would really templatize, but this is useful. I've got some other ideas for tasks that I've been trying to automate and do, like save things I save on X or Twitter, add them to a Google Sheet. It seems like this would be ideal for that, something you would to spin up again repeatedly. So really cool that you can do that. I'm going to jump back and start a new task for this. And then also just real quick too, as you can see, it has some built-in integrations already, websites that you're probably very familiar with, task-related stuff, Thumbtack, Uber, Target, Etsy, eBay, typical food delivery stuff, which I'll try in a second. But the second one I want to try is film locations. Let's say I want to, okay, find and book a mid-century modern home in LA for a film shoot on January 30th. So I didn't say go to Peerspace. I want to see if it figures that out. Peerspace is probably the biggest rental house location site for film specific related things. Let's make this bigger. All right, so it's searching Bing. Not surprising. Okay, interesting. Found something completely different. Painfully hip locations. All right, so it seems like a production company or a location rental company that kind of focuses on specific types of houses. But this one seems to have had specifically a mid century modern house in LA. Probably going to be really expensive. Okay, so this website kind of hit a dead end. It's not a self-booking service. It has a form to fill out, and so then it asked me if I want to proceed with filling out the form or if I want to look somewhere else. So I'm going to just steer it. I'm going to give it a hint. I'm just going to say look on Peerspace. All right, Peerspace wants to verify that I'm human, so I got to take control. And here you can see on the pop-up. So when I first did this the first time when I was testing this before recording, it had a whole pop-up system saying they don't record your screen when you take control. They don't save any information. So usually you would take control for login or something like that, something with more sensitive information, payment info. So it said that there was a pop-up that clarifies they don't record your screen or do anything when you're taking control. The one thing I don't know is if it saves your login. Okay, so I did find a house. I was able to go to Peerspace, lock in the date, lock in the Los Angeles location, find a house that met the mid-century requirements, and it's asking if I should proceed with the booking. I want to see if I can give it something like a bit more specific with the budget and the total, and see if we could do the math because it's like you have to book for 10 hours at this rate. Find a booking that would be less than $1,000 for the entire day, 10 hours. So interesting that it applied a price filter. Now the houses that I'm seeing are not that mid-century, but I did find the next first listing that also fit the mid-century requirement, and it looks a lot less expensive. I even actually did the whole total and figured it out, and it's $640, and it is 10 hours, which fits my budget. All right, that was like exceptional. Just this did exceptionally well with the direction, modifications, finding something in my budget, a lot of little specific examples. Really surprised at how well it did with this one. So I'm gonna say that's a pass. I'm not gonna go through the booking thing because I'm sure it'll click booking and do fine and ask me to sign in. Okay, next one I'm going to, let's say we're on the film shoot. I need to book lunch. So I want to try to have a book lunch, but I want to see if we could do it for a variety of people with different dietary needs and see how it does. Okay, I need to order lunch from Uber Eats in Santa Monica. I need to feed 4 vegetarians, 1 celiac person. I can't think of a better way to say that, and 6 additional people with no restrictions. So I want to see if it finds the place, sources the options, kind of what it does with this type of information that's a little bit more complicated than just like order me a pizza or like order me a sandwich. Okay, so it's looking for restaurants and it's applying the dietary restrictions, and it understood that celiac does mean gluten free. All right, so it seems to have found Urban Plates, which I'm familiar with that place. That is a good place that has options kind of for everyone. I think it is, okay, it just jumped in. I found suitable vegetarian, potentially gluten-free options in the vegan section of urban plates. So it said, so should I add these to the cart? It said potentially gluten-free. So I'm telling it I need to verify that it is definitely gluten-free. Doesn't seem like it's finding something that's gluten-free. I'm just going to jump in and say, find another restaurant. The meal description must say gluten-free. All right, it seems very stuck on urban plates. I'm surprised that this ended up being the more complicated task. That find the camera and a camera lens and find a mid-century modern house. Super easy. Find a gluten-free meal. A little bit trickier for ChatGPT Operator. Interesting too that it'll sort of do a very human thing of going and searching for the website name in Bing or Google and then clicking on the website and the search results instead of just typing in the actual URL, which it should 100% know is ubereats.com, but it's binging Uber Eats and then clicking on the top result. Okay, it's found a new restaurant and gluten free is in the food title, so it's made progress there. Looks like Chrome was crashing, but it has made it through. It's weird. I don't know why it ends up on these weird ad pages and then has to like go back to the restaurant that it just found. So I will say for this, it definitely feels like I could have done this a lot faster myself compared to the other two tasks, which were on par with what a speed normally would have taken. Now, of course, I don't have to be here watching this. I can just let this thing go and it would pop up with an alert when it stopped and I had to do something. Yeah, while I'm waiting, I'll dig around. So you can kind of dig into what each task that it did was as a history and rate it, or see a screenshot of what it did. So that's interesting. You can kind of do a timeline replay of the history of what it did if you want to try to dig back in, maybe to debug if you need to give it some more specific examples or directions if it's kind of getting derailed somewhere. Okay, it seems like it's trying to combine orders now from different restaurants to meet the requirements, but you can't really do that in Uber Eats. You got to do one order, be done with it, and then do another order. All right, I'm gonna interject because I don't want to keep waiting for this. It probably can figure out the gluten-free thing or something. I'm just gonna try to give it a simplified order. All right, so I'm just saying forget the gluten-free, just get 3 regular dishes and 4 vegetarian dishes from a restaurant that has those, that meets those requirements. Okay, so it looks like it's trying to do pizza for this, which technically does meet the requirements. All right, so I'm gonna give this one, and this one's like an iffy, surprisingly iffy. It probably would have figured it out or found something, and it did in its defense come with urban plates, which it thought was gluten-free, but that's also something where you're like, if someone has celiac, you need to be sure. I'm gonna move on to another task. I want to find some stock footage. So let's say find a stock video clip of people shaking hands. Very corporate-y stock footage. And I'm curious what site it goes to first. It seems like it just goes to whatever shows up as the first result on Bing. And this is actually good. It goes to Pexels, which is a free website. Now, I don't think it's going to actually be able to download the video clip because I had issues with downloading stuff before. It can't do file downloads. So let's see if it'll just give it to me in the URL that I could download myself. I found a stock video clip on Pexels. It's free to use, available to download. Would you like me to download it? Yes. Let's see what happens. So downloaded the 24 megabyte file somewhere. It is trying to open the file, but I don't think it's actually going to be able to open that file. All right, I don't think it's actually going to be able to do that. I just want to say, find a modern background music track on Envato Elements. Oh, and I'm probably going to interrupt it, but let me just see. I want that URL. What was the URL of the Pexels video that you found? Okay, so actually, I think I found a different video clip. This was not the one that it tried to download before. So it's memory, and I also had to like find it again, and I found a different one. So memory doesn't seem to be existent right now. So I didn't remember what it did, and it couldn't just call up like, oh, I visited this URL. And I could actually probably just dig into the history and find the actual video. So interesting there. So that's good to know. It doesn't really have a good memory. Okay, and then all right, I'm gonna tell it to go back to looking for music on Envato. Okay, now in this case, it did remember that I asked it to look for modern background music. Conveniently, there is a track called Modern Background Music. Now there is no audio playback here, so modern background music track. And now this time it's actually giving me the link directly, so it sort of did seem to remember from the last thing, like, oh, I like the having the link. Here's the link again. Let's take it one step further. Find the top 10 songs that fit this description and add them to a new Google spreadsheet. So let's have it do a little bit of research and add that research to a new sheet. Okay, so now it's asking me to sign in to Google. So I will do that. So I'm going to take control. Okay, so now I signed in, told it I signed in. All right, it's cool. It's naming the columns. I didn't give it any direction of like I want the track name or the artist or the URL. I would like the URL. It didn't seem to add that. Interesting that it seemed to have clipped a clipboard history. I'm going to interject. Add a column with the URL to the song link. Okay, got that. Going back to the list. I remembered the list it came from. All right, this is the modern background music. Nick Maberov is copying the link. Let's see if it puts it on row 2. All right, correct link to correct song. All right, let's see if it'll get number 2 in the background jazz. Let's see, row 3. Bingo. All right, that's impressive. Okay, yeah, this is performed really well. Let me just see what happens if I try to start another task, if it'll keep running that one in the background. And you can also kind of see a history of your task here, very similar to how ChatGPT works, where you can see your history there. Oh, it looks like it was still running. Huh. All right, so let's see what happens. I want to try another task, the 5th one, the final one. I'm going to give it a YouTube video, one of ours, and I want to see what it does if I say transcribe this videos and create time-stamped chapter markers for YouTube. A video link, and let's see what it does with that. Huh. Is YouTube completely blocked? Let's see. Let me try another link for YouTube. That was a short link. Let's see if this one does anything. Site unavailable. All right, so can't do anything with YouTube. Interesting, interesting. Let's see if we can do something with Frame. Now also let me see if it popped up with a notification here about my other stock video task. Okay, so it added the first 3. So that's interesting. It does work in the background, so I can start running multiple things at the same time, it seems. I will say the one thing that's not clear is how do the credit system work? How much resources am I using and what am I allowed to use? If you've used Claude's computer control model, you can only access it through the API, and it's really expensive. Like I remember, I think I ran a test of something a little bit similar of like copy and pasting things to a spreadsheet, and it ran for, I don't even know, maybe 10 minutes, and it was roughly like $1 a minute. So it was pricey. This we're already paying a large amount of money relative to AI tools. I have no idea how the usage. I don't know if they're kind of letting it go right now because it's in a research preview. So I don't know how it's calculating usage and what that limit. I'm sure there is a limit. What that limit is. Let's see how our video is going. Site unavailable. Really? Let's see if I open it and it thinks I'm human. Okay. All right, I loaded it. Let's see if that does anything. Okay, so it doesn't seem like it can hear the audio there. All right, I don't know. I'm gonna mess around with this more, but video playback is probably pushing the limits of what it can do right now. It doesn't seem like it's able to hear stuff. But overall, the 5 tasks, finding and booking camera rentals and camera gear and finding gear that matches with the camera we're looking for, did excellent. Great job. Really impressed. Find a film location with some specific requirements and some specific dates and budget requirements. Also did an awesome job with that. So really phenomenal with research parameters, kind of narrowing down specific things. Excellent at that. Finding and booking a restaurant that had some specific meal requirements. Took longer than that. I'm sure probably would have eventually figured it out. Also didn't need to sit here and wait for it. Yeah, maybe. That was an iffy one. Certain stock footage, stock music, and add the data that we want to a Google Sheet. Excellent. Did excellent there. Great for research again. And compiling, taking data from one source website to another, sort of like scraping, basically, but with much more specific parameters. And then giving it some video stuff. So it seems like YouTube's completely blocked. Maybe if I clicked intervene and maybe it would let me play it. Not sure there, but then also just giving it a straight up video link with no restrictions. Still had a bit of issues, but and it doesn't seem like it can hear the audio. So I'll dig into that some more. But yeah, overall, really interesting and extremely easy to use. Obviously, this is all web-based. It is unlike other agent video control models where you have to get a little bit more technical and install a Docker bucket, packet, whatever it's called, or a terminal or something. This was all just web-based. And so clearly anything you could do on the web, you can potentially control. So I'm also going to try to think of other web-based video editing tools and see if there's anything we could do there in the future. So yeah, let me know what you think and if any ideas come up of how this could potentially speed up your workflow. If you've tried it or if you want me to try some other things here, let me know in the comments. Thanks for watching. I'll catch you in the next episode.